The debt ceiling of the U.S. We have apparently hit our credit limit, Christina, and there's a lot of fears of defaulting on this debt, and the Treasury has begun what they're calling extraordinary measures.
Whoa.
Juicy stuff.
Ooh.
So what's going on?
Man, it's interesting. So it looks like we have hit this debt ceiling, and there's debates now. One side wants spending cuts. The other side doesn't want to budge. Y'all, it feels a little bit like the government right now is like a drunk at the bar who ran out of their credit card limit, and people are saying, no, you can't spend anymore. And they found one more credit card in their pocket, and they're like, hey, everyone, drinks on me.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so the amount of time the department can continue taking steps to avoid defaulting on the debt unless the $31.381 trillion limit is raised is uncertain. And so if you're wondering what this refers to, it's the maximum amount the U.S. government can spend on its existing obligations. So think things like Social Security, military salaries, food stamps, things like that. And they're voting to raise the debt ceiling. But the question, Christina, that you're raising is the Republicans are saying, hey, if you're going to raise this thing, you better cut the spending, bucko. And the Democrats are saying, no, hey, don't put strings attached on this. Let's just raise it, guys. Be cool.
I'm like, this is the opposite of a zero-based budget. They're basically running on a negative budget.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, can we go up to Washington and help them budget? Is that possible?
If you ever want just a lot more anxiety in your life, you can go to usdebtclock.org, and it has running numbers for all of the debts, and it's nothing stresses you out like that. So much red.
Oh,
it's not pretty. And so this is something the U.S. has never done, defaulting on its debt, which puts us in a really precarious situation globally because other countries are saying, hey, you guys said you were good for the money, and this is like defaulting on your student loan payment. You can't pay. This is scary.
It's scary, and I want to kind of use this conversation. We were planning on doing an update on student loans anyways. We've had a lot of people asking about forgiveness and what are the latest updates. And so I kind of want to use this conversation to go into student loan forgiveness. Okay, so right now, it's supposed to go, the forgiveness plan is supposed to go before the Supreme Court on February 28th. The White House has said that borrowers will resume payments 60 days after the court cases have been resolved. And if the courts have not resolved the issue by June 30th, payments will resume 60 days after that. And I saw something really interesting in an article by Business Insider. It said Congress did not increase funding for the Federal Student Aid Office in the latest spending bill, suggesting hurdles to come with implementation of these reforms. The administration said that the department is disappointed with the lack of funding and notes that it will present a challenge. Y'all.
So, summary, it's not looking good.
It's not looking
good. If you're hoping for student loan forgiveness, it sounds like it's going to be more uphill battles, more fighting, more standstill gridlock over at the White House and Congress.
And I know that's stressful for a lot of people. You know, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people in my life who've been very excited for student loan forgiveness. They have breathed major sighs of relief over the last year. It was going to allow them to get debt-free. So I'm not really rooting one way or another. You know, I think it's just frustrating in general that there's been so much drag in this. There's been so much political turmoil over this. And we just want to say that if you have student loan debt right now, it's really important that you start thinking through how you're going to pay this off. I would not count on this. The U.S. is saying right now that it's out of money. It's running at a deficit, you know, and it's not increasing the budget for student aid. So there's a lot of complications in this. I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, obviously it could technically happen. They could get another debt extension, but I wouldn't count on it. I would not count on Washington and all of this mess going on right now to forgive your debt. I would start working and creating a plan yourself. Get control of your money. Don't wait until June 30th. Don't wait till, September. Whenever these payments come back, to start thinking about it for the first time. And if anything, right now, start paying on it because there's not interest accruing. This is the best time to be paying off this debt. You are not accruing interest. So use this as motivation. Don't use this as fear. Use it as motivation to get in control of your finances, to take ownership of your money. Don't leave that control to people who are literally running a negative budget. That is a scary situation, but you don't have to be scared. You can follow a budget. You can carve out room for your student loan payment. And not only that, you can carve out room to get ahead.
Yeah, this whole situation feels like you're asking your broke friend who's about to go through bankruptcy to cover your tab. And the dude's got no money. And
Right.
so with the U.S. defaulting on its debt, it makes it even more unlikely that they're going to have funding for this student loan forgiveness program. And if the government does default on this, it could cause the financial markets to tank. It could hurt 401ks, other investments. It could hurt the overall economy, the GDP of this country. And so it's definitely a scary situation. And the best thing to do is focus on what you can control. Because if the dollar loses a little bit of its value, but I still have a bunch of money in the bank and I don't owe anyone anything, I can still sleep better at night.
Right. When I see something like this, instead of being like, oh, gloom and doom, this is scary, everything's going to poo, I'm like, what can I do with my family and my finances to tighten up? How can I save a little bit more aggressively? If you have debt, making sure you pay off that debt. Use it as motivation to get even more gazelle intense, to press in and control what you can control.